The public outcry against unprecedented electoral malfeasance during last week's presidential and National Assembly elections has been echoing across the Nigerian landscape, none more so than in the states in the southeast and south-south geopolitical zones. For instance, the contest for the Abia South Senatorial District, which until these elections had been a guaranteed seat for the People's Democratic Party, allegedly descended into unmitigated violence and unprecedented manipulation of results, leading to the declaration of the incumbent senator being ultimately declared winner of the contest. Labour Party senatorial candidate Chinedu Onyeizu says he won the election hands down and boasts of having ample evidence to back up his claim. He now joins us as we continue to provide a platform for all parties following this week's event. Good morning, Chinedu. Good to have you join us.
Thank you, Steve. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, we know where we are now. INEC has declared, and the declaration is that the incumbent senator, Inaya Abaribe of Abga, won the election. You are contesting that election, but in doing that, you do not just have the winner to contend with, but also the sitting governor of the state, who also, contested to be a senator, but who came a distant third. Why do you think you won that election? Why do you think that you have a strong case since you've decided to go to the court? What happened? Why were you denied victory?
Yeah, so Steve, I think this, what I experienced on Saturday is the most profound show of travesty of justice. We have a scenario where the electoral umpire, who is known as the returning officer, had come on air. We have a video to support this, to declare the election inconclusive, because over 108 polling units in my stronghold area did not experience any form of elections. And then she, earlier in the morning, had called all the coalition officers and told all of us that the elections are inconclusive. And then 5 hours after that, we see the same lady come back to the zonal coalition office to declare Abaribe the winner of the elections. So what we are still battling with is, we want to know what happened between the time she had declared the elections inconclusive, and then 5 hours later, when she returned to say on video that she was instructed from Abuja, to come back and declare Inaya Abaribe as the winner of the election. In addition to some of these challenging developments, the result sheets that was made available to us that she used in declaring Senator Abaribe winner, when you tabulate the results on a local government level, it sums up to 38,000 votes, while mine is 43,000. So the level of irregularity and abuse of office that was demonstrated by Professor Georgina Ugwaye, the returning officer, is unprecedented. And my concern is that we are setting an example that will mar democracy in Nigeria going forward. These are clear facts, and the man continues to brag that I should go to court, because he's known and he believes he's a master rigger. He has rigged himself into office for the past 16 years, and today he wants to tell every Nigerian that in view of all the facts that are out there, that he is still going to be returned as a senator. So I want to use this opportunity, and I believe Professor Mahmood is watching me, or anybody close to him. I want to use the opportunity to tell him to reflect back on some of these decisions that his institution is making, and think about the implication of these decisions. The implications it would have in the democracy of Nigeria going forward. Some of us decided to run for office because we believe we can contribute to birthing a new Nigeria. And if that would happen, the foundation has to be gotten right. The institution has to do the right things. So we call on INEC and the government to come back and conduct supplementary elections and the 108 polling units in the senatorial zone where elections didn't hold. And I believe if that is done, and we are talking about disenfranchising 40,000 plus registered voters, if the difference between the declared winner and myself is just 5,000, there is no basis for INEC to hurriedly declare Senator Abaribe winner. And, to put this in context, or to put it in perspective, if he believes he is a more popular candidate, why then rush to be declared winner when we have over 108 polling units that did not experience any form of election? And also that they're in the provision of the law, the Electoral Act, if the difference between the declared winner and the first runner-up is less than the total number of registered voters, it should be declared inconclusive, which is what the lady did at the first instance. Before she got pressured, or I don't know whether she was on Durex, she returned back 5 hours after that to say that she got instructed from Abuja to announce Senator Abaribe as the winner. And the video clips are there. We have the data. Unfortunately, this kind of wanted to incite a lot of young people in Abia South. They wanted to go to the streets. But I want to use the opportunity to urge them to stay calm. We are on top of this. We are working with our lawyers. We believe that we will restore our mandate, God willing.
All right. Chinedu, I would like to find out from you. You mentioned that elections were not held in 108 polling units, of course, in Obingwa, Abia South, and Abia North. What really happened?
Correct. Okay, so for some reason, electoral materials didn't get to those places. Our people were on queue and wanted to vote. In some cases, voting happened, but then there were no result sheets to enter the results of the election. So a lot of malpractice. I mean, it's so humongous. And then one other thing we are discovering is that when you collate result sheets at polling unit level, the numbers are different. The total sum of votes cast at polling unit level, they are different from collated numbers at collation centers. So meaning that, as they collated at local government centers, people were incentivized, to do the wrong things, manipulate the figures, So at the end of the day, you see that the difference between Abaribe and myself at from the numbers you tabulate at polling unit level is quite, different from what you get from what was, announced at the end of the day. You see, so I don't even want to, I might not need to go into the details of because of time, the numbers because of time, but what we are asking for is, we have over 40,000 Nigerians that we are disenfranchised on Saturday. The law says that, the Electoral Act says that if the difference between Abaribe and this first runner-up is less than the number of individuals that collected their PVCs, there should be supplementary elections. And then another interesting aspect of this issue is that there are parts of Nigeria, there are senatorial and federal constituencies in Nigeria where the electoral body declared elections inconclusive. Why is Abia South different? And they declared those areas, election in those areas inconclusive because of the same reasons. So who gave the order from Abuja to announce Abaribe winner of the election within 5 hours after the umpire said the elections were inconclusive? We need to know, Nigerians need to be told what happened, and that is why we are heading to the court. We are relying on a fair trial at the tribunal, and then we hope that we will get justice. And justice means justice to Nigerians in Abia South would mean returning back to the pools so that those that are disenfranchised will be allowed to vote. Justice to Nigerians means giving us access to the election materials, at Abia South, so that we can access those materials and also present our case at the court, at the court. So that is what we expect, and we are not backing out.
Okay, all right, Chinedu. You are insistent on having a supplementary election, but I'm sure that you are aware that the governor of your state, who was also a candidate in that senatorial election, Governor Onyeizu, is also claiming that about 50,000 of his supporters were not able to vote because of the irregularities that characterized that election. And he's saying that if such a huge number of voters had been allowed to vote, definitely it would have emerged winner. So my question to you, first part, is what gives you the confidence that if the court or the tribunal orders a supplementary election, you will beat not just Abaribe, the incumbent, but also Governor Onyeizu? And then secondly, if you can take the questions together, does what has happened last Saturday give an indication to what voters might, or the public might experience in next Saturday's gubernatorial election? I know that the Labour Party has a strong candidate in Dr. Alex Otti, but of course what has happened is that the Southeast in general, and Abia State in particular, will also appear to be running a 3-horse race kind of a scenario where you have the PDP, where you have the Labour, and you have the ABGA. Will what happened last Saturday be an indication of what to expect in the gubernatorial and the House of Assembly election in your state?
Okay, so our campaign was run on the basis of replacing, older politicians that have demonstrated years of incompetency in office, older politicians that have been redundant at the office of the Senate. I mean, we are talking about a senator who has represented Abia South for 16 years without anything to show for it. And then on the other hand, we are looking at an incumbent governor who every Abian is currently disappointed with because he has shown every form of incompetence while in office. We are looking at my campaign was driven on the basis of replacing incompetency, replacing redundancy with a behavior of leaders with behavior of integrity, leaders with behavior that have shown capacity, leaders that have a lot to offer our people. So if the elections are held 10 times, as long as it's going to be free and fair, there won't be any form of intimidation of voters, I will be able to, I'm very sure of winning Abaribe and the incumbent governor. So again, I call on INEC to do the right thing. Nigerians are watching. Interestingly, even global organizations are calling in to know what would happen, or what is transpiring in Abia South case. For your second question, I am concerned about voter apathy. With the kind of thing that we are seeing, with the kind of behavior, with the kind of treatments from INEC, a body that we all thought was going to conduct a free and fair, fair, transparent elections. People are worried. However, I challenge our voters to still come out en masse on Saturday and vote for our candidates in Abia State. We believe we have the best gubernatorial candidate in the name of Dr. Alex Choma Oti. So if they don't come out, it might give room for the opposition parties to rig the election, because what we see now is an INEC that is, that is bought over by the highest bidder, and for us not to allow that to happen, we need to come out in our numbers on Saturday and make a statement. As I said earlier, we are not going to back down on our pursuit for justice. We are going to retrieve our mandate. Thank you, and that's our position on your questions.
All right, just before we let you go, Chinedu, what therefore, if you get what your heart desires, what therefore will be your key promise to Abians, particularly those in your senatorial district? A senator is not a governor. A senator is not a president. You are basically representing a district in Abuja. What will be the key thing that the people of your constituency should look forward to, just in case you are able to get the court to be on your side?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. Interestingly, we are the only senatorial campaign that has well-developed programs that we wanted to start rolling out immediately we get into office. First of all, we had plans to pursue an infrastructure bill because we believe there's no framework in Nigeria, that could help, prioritize key infrastructural projects that the country should be pursuing. If you look at the Aba to Port Harcourt Express Road, it's been in a deplorable state for over 20 years. It's a federal road. Our current senator has not been able to attend to that. I was also concerned about the energy laws in Nigeria. We believe that as a country, we shouldn't be paying humongous amounts of money for subsidy when we have over 38 billion barrels of crude oil in our backyard in reserve. We shouldn't be importing fuel. We need to make a law that mandates oil and gas producing companies in Nigeria to put in place refineries to make sure we refine locally. So those monies we pay as subsidy should be used to subsidize the installation of infrastructure for us to be able to refine locally. We need to be putting laws in place to make sure Nigeria utilizes its own gas. So we have a lot that we had planned for our people, which helped us get the kind of popularity we gained in Abia South, helped us get the kind of followership we got and the kind of votes we also got. So as I said earlier, I beg INEC to do the right thing. We are not going to back down. And if they do the right thing, we will emerge victorious.
All right, Chinedu Onyeizu, I want to say thank you very much for joining us today here on The Money Show.